Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to Top Boxing, the channel you come to for the other perspective. So, boxing is life. Boxing is, as an analogy, I think is fitting because so many things in boxing relates to real life. And I watched something this morning and I thought I'd speak on it. So, welcome to Top Boxing. Hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe.
Oh, definitely. My daughter, she's in nationals right now. I've been driving back and forth from Omaha to Des Moines, Iowa to support her and to be with her. She made it to the finals. She will race again tomorrow. And I just want to be there for her, my children. You know, um, growing up, that was a big part that I was missing was my parents and my family there to support me in certain tournaments and fights and football games and basketball games and stuff like that. I didn't have the support like all the other kids had, and that was it was kind of hurtful because I see how happy the kids was, whether they win, lose, or anything. They had their parents to run to and to hold them and congratulate them or to keep them sane and tell them it was gonna be all right if they lost. So that's something that I never had. So I never wanted my kids to grow up and say, "Oh, well, Daddy wasn't never there."
So, the new undisputed champ is doing the press round. T. Bud Crawford. Again, congratulations. And I realized that what this fight taught us was Bob Marley once said. Oh, by the way, I'm not Jamaican, but a friend of mine went to Jamaica and bought me this shirt, so it's the first time I wore it. It just felt fitting this morning because of what I'm going to speak on. And it said, there's a saying from Bob that says, the stone that the builder refuses will always be the head cornerstone. And this past Saturday, I feel this is what came to pass. And what do you know? Those folks are from Jamaica. You know, it all lines up. There are no coincidences. And Crawford was also, you know, triumphant this past Saturday. And but what I really wanted to talk about is what I saw. I think it was on TMZ, and Bud was doing the rounds. And one of the things that hit that hit me was the latter part of that interview where he spoke about being somewhat envious of the other children that had the support of their parents, that had both parents. I thought he did, but maybe he didn't, but or maybe didn't have the support in all the away meets and all the away games or whatnot. And to speak to sometimes in life, the things we learn as children strengthen us in a way. You know, it's a yin and a yang. Some people it doesn't, but for some it strengthens them and give them this. For Bud, I would say it's a chip on his shoulder, and and right away, you know, not knowing his story, you could tell where this man has this this chip on his shoulder per se to achieve as much as he has, and he calls himself an overachiever, and maybe that's an understatement for Bud to say. Maybe that's what he realizes in himself, how far he's taken himself besides what they thought his ceiling was. And I realize in life, all of you can do the things that you set yourself up for. Sometimes you need that chip on your shoulders. Like myself, I too have come a long way. And you have to believe in yourself. And what I saw this past Saturday was a man that had to have all the tools Had to build up some things. Like Michael Jordan, he had to make it up sometimes to push himself to those places where he needed to go. On Saturday, he needed to be at a place where he could reach the sky. He could reach his final pinnacle as where in boxing he saw himself, where others didn't. And that's a life lesson we could teach children. And the second thing I saw was a man a couple of days off the fight was, running errands, going to see his children run track meets, just doing dad stuff. He's a regular guy. There may be a marketing aspect behind it, but you could tell he's a regular guy. And I think that's what's going to make Bud unbeatable. Outside of the obvious. The obvious being Father Time, which is undefeated. He says he turned 36 in September. That's next month. So how long does Bud stick around? Time will tell. But I think that's why it's more important now to get all the bigger fights now. Allow the man to make what he can make to take care of his family, his extended family. Lots of times these boxers have a lot of people dependent upon them for their livelihood. And I wish him the best. So whenever we watch boxing sometimes, I think there's some life lessons to take away from it. Resilience, the ability to bounce back for Errol Spence. Okay? And for Bud, I say the ability to hunt for the good stuff. Finding the great things in your life that keeps you going each and every day. So this is Top Boxing. And every time you turn into my channel, I hope you learn something. Rise, clap. Mine. One love.
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless. A sea of the aimless. I don't want to be one of